Hi, I'm Rachel Abbasi. Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. As always, thanks for spending time with me. Hello and happy day. Today I'm gonna mow the lawn before it gets too hot, but I wanted to record before I did that. Um, what I wanted to talk about today is a little related to yesterday in that I wanted to talk about what are we rehearsing in our heads? It goes back to that idea of like, I'm always catastrophizing, that kind of thing. And it's like my brain um is uh always repeating like every scenario of how everything could go wrong instead of possibly how things could go right. And I'm so well trained at that. You know, my mind is a storyteller. And before anything difficult happens, my mind writes the ending. And it usually chooses every possible worst scenario. I rehearse failure, rejection, embarrassment. I rehearse loss a lot. Um, I don't necessarily say it out loud. I don't know that I have told anybody but my psychiatrist actually how often I'm thinking of, I know this is gonna maybe sound like a surprise. I don't know how often I think about losing my loved ones. I do. I mean, it's very sad that I do that, but I do it all the time. And I've done it more since my stroke than I've ever done it. And it's like I'm living through things twice. I'm living through things through my imagination, and then I'm living through things in my reality. I remember back when I was in high school, and one of my friends, it was my puppy love guy. He died in a motorcycle accident. But what's interesting is when I was in high school, I used to imagine what would happen if I lost him. I don't know why I did that, but I imagined that something bad was going to happen. And then something bad did happen. I did the same thing with another puppy love guy, and he passed away. And before he did, now this was later in life, but before he did, maybe like a couple weeks before he did, I, with full confidence, said to myself, he's going to die. And as odd as you guys think that is, he was an alcoholic. And I realized, I think, in that moment that he wasn't going to make it. I think that I just feared the worst. And that's exactly what happened. So I sometimes feel like rehearsing these feelings saves me from the pain. It like prepares me for the worst. And I don't think that that's true. I don't think we can ease loss by imagining it first. Um, One thing that is inevitable is that we lose our parents. And I'm getting to that age where my friends have been losing their parents. And so that like puts this fear inside of me, and I just live in it. And I don't think that that's healthy. And it certainly is not preparing me at all for that worst, for that outcome. But I don't know how to not do it. So my emotions, like as I play through this worst case outcome in most everything, my emotions like believe the story that my brain is uh creating, and my body will actually react to these imagined events. Like I become anxious before anything has actually happened. So going back to not just loss, but any sort of situation that I'm getting ready to face, like embarrassment or something, like I can envision maybe a public speaking event where something goes wrong and I am going to be embarrassed or humiliated or something. I can imagine that. And when I'm imagining it, my heart starts racing, my stomach starts tightening, and I can actually get a stomach ache just from my stomach is where things seem to really come out, like physical symptoms because of my emotions. Like they live in my stomach. It seems like that probably is a thing, and I don't know what that means. But if I were to talk to the Reiki lady that I went to, that would probably go back to one of those chakras, which I don't have the sheet of paper in front of me. Maybe I do have the sheet of paper in front of me. No, I don't. I think there's a chakra in your belly, so I don't know what it is, but the emotions that I'm feeling, those symptoms, are responding to something imagined. It's not even there. It's just the story I'm telling myself. Um, I don't know how to stop it. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that other than to practice the principles of my program. And so I think about in this scenario, I think about the color wheel. So I haven't talked about I reference the color wheel here and there, but I did an episode in 2024 about mixed emotions and how we our emotions are so complex. I talked about it yesterday where my psychiatrist talked to me about how we can feel multiple things at once. So I think that's why identifying the emotions matters. Like I can think that I'm anxious about something, but anxiety isn't necessarily the the root emotion. The root emotion is fear or insecurity. Um, and that's the one that I think it's helpful to address. And when I think about that book that I mentioned to you guys, the book called Presence by Amy Cuddy, I think about like that anxiety. Like one time after I read this book, I was facing a public speaking situation and I had all of this anxiety. I have more anxiety when I know the people that I'm public speaking to, than if I'm speaking to a room full of people I don't know. I could stand in front of an entire auditorium full of people, standing room only of people that I don't know, but I have a very difficult time standing in a small room of people that I do know. And I think it's because I feel like people who know me can see through, whatever front I'm putting on. So, this book, Presence, I was getting ready to do a public speaking to my team. the extended team, and it was just a room full of people that I knew, and I was so nervous. And when I think about it, I feel those feelings again because I know that they could see it, and I didn't want them to see it. I wanted them to see that I was um, somebody to look up to, that I was a manager figure, that I had my shit together. And that's not what I portrayed. And so after I read this book about presence, the book said to before you have a public speaking event that you may be anxious about, go in the bathroom and stand in front of the mirror and do like the superwoman pose. Put your hand on your hips, put your chest out, or even like put your arms up in the air and take up more space. It's about taking up more space because when I feel anxious or insecure, I fold up on myself. I cross my arms, I kind of hunch. I don't lift up my head, open my chest, and take up more space. So the book was talking about that's what you do. So that's what I did. There was nobody in the bathroom. I went in there, I looked in the mirror, and I did what the book said. And then I went into the room and I waited for my turn to speak. And of course, the person who spoke before me was a professional, was a trainer. And even though I have been a professional trainer in the past, excuse me, that was in my years of drinking. So I never really, just like I always say, like I wasn't growing during that time. So that I never processed my anxiety. Like I never faced how to deal with the anxiety because I was just a mess. I was just a mess during that time of my life. And I was just constantly anxious. I was constantly trembling. So when in this job, after I read the book Presence, I started feeling those same feelings. I started feeling the trembling, and the trembling was everywhere. It's everywhere. And I thought, it's out of control. I can't stop it now. Even though I went into the bathroom and did the things that the book said, I even sat in my chair prior to me speaking, and I put my arms over the back of my chair because I wanted to keep my chest open because I thought I can breathe better and calm myself down better if try to keep opening up. Well, nothing helped. If I'm being honest, like nothing helped. I really just felt that trembling and it was terrible and I was embarrassed. And what I know now as I get older is like, it's over. I'm the only one thinking about it. None of those people are thinking about. I'll never forget that day that Rachel stood in front of us and she was just a complete anxious mess. But my brain, my imagination can hurt me. My imagination can be unhealthy if I don't have tools to manage it. Over the course of uh, the time since that public speaking, I listened to a bunch of other books, and the one that helped me the most was called Talk Like Ted. And once I listened to that one, the anxiety dissipated. I never thought that it would, but I was just so determined. I'm like, if I can learn how to play tennis, if I can learn how to run, if I can learn how to paint, then I can learn how to public speak. And so I just was not going to give up. And it worked. I did learn how to public speak without the anxiety. in a room full of people that I knew. And I was pretty proud about myself, proud of myself for that. But part of it is not rehearsing something that hasn't happened yet. Why does my brain always choose catastrophe instead of imagining the conversation going well? This happened way prior to my recent psychiatrist who said, "No, wait a minute, I'm wrong." My addiction therapist is the one who told me, imagine everything going right. So this did happen in tandem with this book, Talk Like Ted. So imagine doing a great job. Imagine, being, if you're nervous to go to the dentist, nervous to go to the doctor, nervous to do a marathon, whatever it is, like imagine it going perfectly. Imagine getting great news at the end of it. Imagine myself handling the situation with grace because what I didn't realize is that hope is imagination. Hope is me envisioning that my life is going well, is going to be okay. It is okay. It's going to be okay. I was thinking this morning in my meeting about how often I wake up with anxiety still to this day. And maybe that anxiety, it's rooted in uncertainty. Like all of those years that when I was a trainer and I woke up and I thought, oh my gosh, I have this class today. And I was so freaked out about it. Um, that anxiety is actually with the color wheel, there's a little bit of an excitement that that was in that anxiety because I liked it. I talked about that yesterday. I like being center stage. Go figure. But so it's anxiety, but it's also fear. And no matter what the feelings are, I've learned how to not let those feelings determine whether I'm going to participate or not. Um, I heard in a meeting last week somebody saying, I show up for the day that shows up for me. And I liked that. It's kind of like, you know how before a football game, all the football players get into the little group, the little group. They get together and the quarterback gets in the middle and he's like, roar, and he's like, we're gonna get him, we're gonna kill him, we're gonna that's what I feel like I have to do at the beginning of the day. It's like a smaller version of that. It's like pumping myself up to face whatever it is. And again, knowing that I have the tools that I need to face anything. And I believe that now. I didn't used to believe that. But as I keep practicing it, I keep rehearsing things going well in my head instead of rehearsing the worst possible outcome. I learned that I'm creating new evidence for myself. Walking forward despite the fear creates new evidence for me in my life so that I can look back and say, oh, well, I already did it once. I can do it again. so that I don't have to pump myself up every time. I don't have to feel brave in order to act. Um, I become brave because I'm acting. Every time I walk towards fear, my brain is collecting evidence that I can survive it. So confidence, it doesn't have to be imagined. It's something that I've earned, you know? Um, I, through my sobriety program, started to envision in the beginning of my sobriety, envision my problems as a mountain. And I envision, like, I think it's because I used to hear the only way to it is through it. So I started envisioning all of my issues, like, gosh, the stuff I dealt with my ex-husband, or anything I had to face at work. Like, I started envisioning each thing as a mountain, and I thought the only way that I can get to the other side is to go over the mountain. I have to stop trying to avoid it. I have to stop trying to find a way around the mountain and instead start climbing. So, um, the relief that I feel comes sooner when I walk sooner towards the problem. Um, I know that relief comes faster by walking through the problem rather than trying to delay it. The other side of the mountain it's not going to come to me. I have to walk towards it. And the fastest way is sometimes climbing a cliff. You know, I heard this morning somebody said, not every day is good, but every day has good in it. And it does if I choose to see it. I can spend every day rehearsing that everything is going to go wrong, or I can rehearse courage and show up for, again, the day that showed up for me. So, it takes practice. It takes practice to stop rehearsing catastrophes and start envisioning healing, envisioning success, so that I can start creating that evidence that I can do it, that I have what it takes to handle whatever is in front of me. So thanks for joining me today, and I will talk to you next time.